1,200 pounds an acre of, it's a pelletized chicken manure.
433.
That one's 543 or 534. Yeah. Not the stuff out of Purdue, but the stuff out of New York. It's kind of composted material.
So, and you said it had been corn previous.
It has had that in corn for about 5 years. Alfalfa before that. And this year, I'm going to be putting it mostly on some land that had been my vegetable land because I'm flip-flopping some things around.
One of the things I'm really curious about is that talking to this agronomist in North Dakota is this whole nitrogen factor. And sunflowers require a lot of nitrogen, but they also will go down into the soil 3-4 feet deep, that they're really good scavengers of nitrogen. And this guy seems to think that our soils are just way too fertile. Tall, weak stems. We have a long history of cow manured fields, and so and I know Andrew down at Clearbrook Farm, they've had a heck of a time with sunflowers lodging, and we thought it was this maggot, but I'll show you a picture later of one of our fields that lodged, and I think it's nitrogen, that we have too much nitrogen.
How about the potassium levels though?
Well, that won't cause the stems to be as weak as the nitrogen.
We didn't have really any lodge and all, but that 1,200 was pre-planned.
But you were on a cornfield that's been
not a lot of manure because you got
not a lot of manure, and
cows were down.
And Brad, your field was that sandy. We took soil tests, we took PSNT tests. They all called for lots of fertilizer, but just a field we have at Rogers where we do our plots. There's right near the barn, and we've had severe lodging issues, but yet you go down the road to a field that I called crap, and it had the best. I'm so mean.
Red crap.
I know. I called it crap. I called it crap, and they were the best sunflowers we had. So I think, one of the things that we're learning is that we probably don't. And I'm thinking, when you said I'm going to put this on my vegetable piece, it made me wonder how high your fertility levels are there. Okay.
Actually, a lot of my home farm is extremely bony down.
Yeah.
And actually, where they were this year is more of a loam.
Yeah.
I'd say there's some play in there, but before renting this land that I'm on now, the home farm is primarily beach dune.
When they take
so I think they'd like it there.
Yeah, well, when they take the soil test in North Dakota, they go down 2 to 3 feet for sunflower fields, and so I just. And they're doing fall nitrate tests down to 2 to 3 feet to figure out how much nitrogen is there, and then they're making recommendations. But we have mostly very fertile soils here, so I think that's been part of the problem. We have these maggot issue, but from everything this guy said in North Dakota, he said, yeah, we have maggots. We'll see 30 to 40 maggot tunnels per sunflower. It doesn't cause them to. So I guess the good thing is that these are going to do well on our poor soils, but we don't. I guess my feeling is at this point is that just be really careful about how much fertilizer you're putting on these, because they're really able to fend for themselves.
So I'm going to disagree with her. I mean, we did what we did is we did
a bunch of
fertility. We did a bunch of fertility plots, where we went with 50 pounds of nitrogen, 75 pounds of nitrogen, 100 pounds of nitrogen, and side dressed. Everything got the broadcast in the spring. Everything got the same starter, and then we went in and we just did 400, 500, 600 foot strips of 50 pounds, 70 pounds, and we definitely saw a response. We had not zero, but we had less than 5% lodging. And there was a clear response to the nitrogen on those fields that we did. A clear
response. But that's
sandy.
First year, the corn ground has been corn ground for many well.
But no manure.
No manure, but that's been he ripped that up. Actually, 2 years ago, that was a good alfalfa, fairly good alfalfa. He ripped up 2 years ago, so it's been corn 2 years before we put the sunnies in there.
Well, I guess my point is that that field needed it. When we took a PSNT, it came back needing an entire rate of nitrogen. And it's a light soil, long-term manure application. I'm not saying don't fertilize your sunflowers. I'm saying that if you have a very rich field, that don't. I mean, we had
organic matter is going to make.
Yeah, I mean, I can't emphasize it enough. We had lost an entire field that looked gorgeous because it had too much. I know it's because it had too much nitrogen. The whole thing went down.
Did you test the plant?
There was nothing to test by the time it was all on the ground. But we did take PSNTs there, and it called for nothing. And we put it on anyway. Because I'm a good agronomist. Anyway, because we were trying, but we did, shouldn't have put that thing out there, but we did a nitrogen response study at Larry's, and we did see a response, and we took tests there too, and that's a light ground down there that leaches easy, and there's not a lot of nutrients. So I think it's just, think about where you're putting them. Soil testing, and we can talk about this later, but when you said yours didn't lodge, Brad, and we had other ones that did, and I was like, well, his fields are, those fields weren't that fertile to begin with. That field was behind the barn. I don't know. So I'm just trying to put the pieces together because this is a major problem for a lot of people.